So thank you, Peter, for your introduction, and a warm welcome to all of you from me, and I hope you are enjoying the event and the very inspirational speeches that we have heard in the first part of this afternoon. So we are indeed going to talk about the important role that consumers have in driving more sustainability in our sector. And I will actually start by a quiz with this nice installation in another park of Belgium and ask you, what do you think this figure is all about? More than 1,000. Guess what? Just would it be the number of garments on this piece of sculpture or what? Any thoughts? Doesn't seem to be the case. It's actually the number of washes that are done in Europe every second. We have heard a lot of statistics in the earlier parts, some not so funny, but well, this is just to figure out that's 98 million a day, actually, and it's just to figure out the volume of water, energy, and product that is used by consumers in Europe every day. So this is also to emphasize the important role that consumers can have in influencing better behavior. And why is it so important? Because when we look actually at the life cycle analysis of laundry detergents, it's actually during the use phase that the impact is the biggest, so that there is the biggest footprint. We do regularly some consumer habits research in AIC every 3 years, and actually we see that there is margin for improvement, because just to take a few snapshots of the figures that we gathered, only 56% of the loads are actually full, so there is still a great margin of improvement. The average wash temperature in 2011 was 41 degrees, and only 32% of those washes were done at 30 degrees or below. So there is still a lot of margin of improvement. Just an example, if all these loads were actually full, that would actually save the water that a city like Barcelona is consuming. Or if everybody who washes at 40 or higher was to wash at 10 degrees less, it would actually save the whole lighting of Poland. So how to go about these topics of driving more sustainable consumption from consumers? Should we regulate sustainable consumption? Well, we don't think it's really an ideal solution to actually, through regulation, impose something like that, unless we would ask maybe these chaps to think about it. Should they be brainstorming about it? Real picture that I took in the council during the open door. It was too funny, so I had to take it. So the way about addressing sustainable consumption in our mind is not really through regulation, but to actually be proactive and coming up with voluntary schemes, which is what we do. And when looking at habits, and we heard about the fact that we are part of a chain and family and grandchildren, this is actually coming from a village in the neighborhood where I come from, and the way our grandmothers were doing the washing. So that just to inspire us again on evolution. So just a few generations ago, that's how washes were done. So back to how to go about addressing today's washing behavior. And against this nice background, I'm going to throw something like a bomb in the room. It's actually coming, believe it or not, from one of our senior marketing person that says, and I would like this to be quite spread around, that when it comes to sustainability from consumers, the consumer is actually not the boss. We have to engage him or her in doing more and in educating him and her more into what is better sustainability practices. For example, education on how to optimally do the washing or how to recognize the value of concentrated products, etc. So this sentence, the consumer is not the boss, is actually something that maybe, when it comes to driving sustainability, could be fed more into more marketing persons. And the other thing that we think is worth doing is that more than working on these topics individually, as brands, as companies, we are actually better off doing it together. And that's a bit of a symbolic way to visualize away the work of industry association. And this is what we do through schemes like the Charter for Sustainable Cleaning. So come up with a pan-European scheme to drive sustainability standards and try and be always the most advanced scheme for the sector and report against progress, put products that meet high sustainability criteria from factory level, product design, and end user guidance. And user guidance is very critical, and that's why over the last 15 years already we are putting together these wash right, clean right panels, which are a priori relatively basic tips, but you see from the habits that there is still margin of improvement. So this is just the example of laundry detergents, but we have also others for automatic dishwashing and all-purpose cleaners, and more will come. And all these are conveyed through our cleanright.eu portal, which we launched 4 years ago, and which can now reach to all the population of Europe because it is done in actually 25 languages. So we've seen why it is important, we've seen what we do. Now in terms of how we do it, there are, and we heard about it at the first part of the session today, the new means of communication like digital communication are obvious for us to tackle. I will just put on the screen here a couple of examples of activities that our national associations are doing, because at AIC we develop template education guidance, but it's over to our network and the companies to actually activate and reach out to consumers. So a grateful thanks from my part to all the network people for the good work they do in activating all this material and reaching out to the consumers locally. But besides this new form of communication, something that I personally believe very much in is the power of, in addition to our industry family, maybe expanding, and we've talked also about that in the first part. So not only work internally as a sector, but also expand and work on these topics with different stakeholders. So imagine, instead of playing football, if we were conveying these clean right, wash right tips together, not only the browns, and I've just taken 3 at random, there are also more, but if we from the detergent industry are communicating that consistently, but also the washing machine people, and here I've just quoted one of our companies, but there are many more, and in addition as well the Carrefour of this world and other retailers, the H&M textile, and why not Commission and the national agencies, and last but not least, the consumer NGOs, how powerful that would be if consistently a single message could be put forward towards consumers. There would be probably more chances for them to be convinced that it's the right thing to do. So just to conclude, we see definitely that in our domain, when it comes to sustainability in the detergent industry, engaging with consumers is key. Actually, we can talk more to the citizens inside consumers and get them to think twice when they act and consume, and that there is a lot of opportunities to do so as a sector and proactively, and also in cooperation with multi-stakeholder. So just as a sneak preview, I've actually found, when going in a flea market here in Brussels, an old magazine of Femmes d'Aujourd'hui from October 52, when we were created, well, IASC was created, and there are actually 2 ads from there of our famous friends. And well, at that time we were talking about different benefits, so just to do a bit of a clin d'oeil of the types of ad that we had back in the 50s, and a sneak preview of the one which we are busy working at the moment, and which hopefully you will see live next year and the year after to drive low temperature washing. So thank you very much, and by the end of my speech, all this amount of washes have been done. Thank you.